Welcome to the International Open Week. Today, we are very happy to welcome two wonderful guests, Abhinaw and Jessica. Before we start, I would like us to take a moment to commemorate the life and death of Queen Elizabeth II with a minute of silence. Welcome, Abhinaw. Welcome, Jessica. So happy to have you here today on a beautiful sunny day at the very beginning of our International Week. To all our international viewers, I would like to please remind you to join us for other webinars during this week. We'll be happy to see you, answer your questions, provide more information, and help you make informed career decisions. I would like to introduce myself first and then over to our guests. I am Liudmyla. I'm a career development consultant at the University of Auckland, and actually I am an alumni myself. I graduated from this university with the postgraduate diploma in language teaching. Abhinaw.
Hi, thank you so much. Great to be here. Lovely to join you all. I'm Abhinaw, and I am working at the University of Auckland actually, and I'm a professional teaching fellow here. And yeah, that's about me.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and my Chinese name is Jing. I graduated from the University of Auckland from 2008. It's a long time ago. So I studied postgraduate diploma in arts, major in film, TV and media studies.
Wonderful, thank you. We've got a lot of questions and I'm sure our viewers are really curious about your answers. The first one is, why did you choose your program of study? And what did you hope to do after finishing it? Jessica, if you don't mind, we'll start with you.
Okay, for sure. I actually came to Auckland in the year of 2003. I had my high school here. I enjoyed some university life in Christchurch at Canterbury, and then I wanted to I live in a bigger city, so I came to Auckland. I guess that's one of the major reasons. And the other reason is I always wanted to do media studies. I wanted to be in a career where I can fulfill my childhood dream in doing media, managing media relationships and doing marketing. So that's the reason for why I'm here. Yeah, so I was here for the studies. What about you?
Well, I did my master's here first in 2016 so it was a Master's of Engineering Studies in Construction Management. And I've got a background where I did my bachelor's in civil engineering back in India. Mm-hmm. And I worked as a project engineer there for a couple of years. And after my master's, I was quite tempted to do a PhD in civil engineering as well. And that's what I did. I continued with a PhD in civil engineering. And yeah, my motivation to do my master's was, I think it was quite organic or natural to me because I was working as a project engineer. I just felt the need that there is some scope of improvement in the work I'm doing. I had the knowledge, technical background of what needs to be done on the project, but then I think from a construction management perspective and just learning more about how the project works and how to get things done, you needed more sort of a master's degree, I felt, and I think that's where I thought this could be a really good opportunity. And I looked at New Zealand because I love the country, and I looked at University of Auckland because it's definitely the top ranked university here. And well, I think there's a lot of talk about the facilities and everything, but it's just the fact that it is right located in the center of the city makes it such a beautiful place to live in. And I knew that I'd have a lot of opportunities to go to, webinars, seminars, and so on. So yeah, that's what brought me here.
Thank you. I really loved how you said I was tempted to do a PhD. It's not the word that I would use with a PhD, but wonderful, great. And your journey with the university never stops. You're still here helping other students.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had to make it. So I was really interested in teaching, and I thought if I do my PhD, that'll really set me up really well for that. And I was like, yeah, if I can do it now, it's the best time in this university. So went with it, and fortunate enough, working as a professional teaching fellow. So love my job, do my lectures and everything. So love it. Yeah.
Your students are really lucky.
Oh, thank you.
I really like how both of your stories show sort of different ends of the spectrum. You talked about your childhood dream, sort of knowing from the beginning what you wanted to do. You talked about coming with a more sort of mature decision to improve your practice, which just goes to show that basically you can start studying at any point in your life, wherever you are in your career journey. I also wanted to ask you to tell us a bit more about your current job, which Abhinaw, you've started already, and what do you particularly enjoy about it?
Probably I'll just continue from where I left. So my current job as a professional teaching fellow, I'm a lecturer mainly, which is teaching based, and I get to do some amazing stuff. And my day-to-day job is obviously planning, developing, and delivering content, lectures, and workshops for students, especially postgraduate students, because I work at the Graduate School of Engineering. But other than that, I also work in the coordination of program delivery. So whenever we've got some new programs that are coming up or existing programs that are running for students, we coordinate with the lectures. We also help with planning the curriculum of the program and so on. That's amazing. And I think the best part probably is I get to contribute to the leadership of the Graduate School of Engineering and how it is developing and what kind of direction it is taking to help the students, which is amazing. So yeah, that's something about what I do. And yeah, I love all of that. So I don't know what to pick.
You do sound like you love all parts of it.
Definitely.
Great.
Yeah.
Jessica, how about you?
About my, sorry, I actually on my own business. I started and found this business called Liudmyla Solution after I graduated from the Auckland Uni 3 years later. Managing managing the daily operations, client relationships, and also doing a lot of strategy plannings for the firm that I own. So this company, Liudmyla Solution, is a cross-culture, not to say cross-culture, like it's a digital marketing agency that helping overseas companies, international companies to helping them to utilize the digital tools and digital technologies to reach out to the Chinese consumers in China. So we'll help them to create market entry strategies for their game plan in China. We're also helping them to create creative content, working on building website development and design the UX, the user experience for the website, and we're also running their social media activities for the firms in China. So the good thing I really enjoy about my career is that I get to talk to a whole lot of different international marketers from different backgrounds. We're also talking to clients from different countries. We actually started our office here in New Zealand, in Auckland. It's, I think, 200, 300 meters away from the campus.
All right.
It's on Beach Road, from a very small and tiny office. I think started was 10 to 15 square meters big. And then we expanded from Auckland to China. We currently have 3 offices in China, Shanghai, Ningbo, and Shenzhen, and we have 2 offices in Australia, Sydney and Melbourne. So I think the good thing about my career is that talking to different marketers from different countries, from different sectors, sectors of international marketers, different industry players that always inspired me to create stories for them, and also inspire myself to create a better story for the firm that I'm working with.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. So it sounds like you offer this full suite of marketing, digital marketing support to your clients.
Yeah.
Just a follow-up question, which I'm sure will be interesting to our viewers. How did you come up with this idea?
So as I mentioned earlier, that I always had this childhood dream of doing something related to media relationships and also marketing. So after I graduated from Auckland Uni, I actually worked for for Fabric Media, Sunday Star Times. It's now a digital publication here. So back in the days, I was actually very lucky enough to be one of the only Chinese in the newsroom. So my daily job was to help the journalists in the newsroom to figure out the background stories, figure out the informations for each of the stories the journalists are creating. So when there are stories relating the Chinese communities here in New Zealand, or the Chinese business stories in China, they will always come to me and ask some questions, cultural related questions. There I realized there's actually a very huge culture gap in between the Western cultures to the Chinese cultures. So I decided, during my leisure time, I would talk to my uni friends asking how they think about that. And they all sort of agreed on my opinion that maybe we could try to build something to fulfilling the gaps between the different cultures by doing digital marketing. And also when I was working in the newsroom, I realized that for the Western companies, like the Kiwi companies, when they are doing marketing in China, they always lack of understanding of how the market is responding to their products and their brand. We feel like it's not just the language barrier, it's also so much about the market itself. So that when I decided to go back to China, I just feel like I wanted to do something in relate to that. So 3 years later, I found this company with two other co-founders who I also met from my university life here.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. What I really like about it is how you and your co-founders, you spotted an opportunity, or a gap rather, and then you thought, lots of people can see the gap, but few people do something about it. But you decided to dive in, just start a company which you founded, which is very successful. Good on you. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's really good to utilize what we learned from the university and our experience from I guess the international life, right? To do something that's meaningful.
That's the goal. Yes. Thank you to both of you. Now I would like you to think back to your studies at the University of Auckland. Not that long ago, actually. Time flies. And in what way do you feel your studies at the university prepared you for your future career? Abhinaw, would you like to start?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question, because so there's a lot of contribution that I can see that I do in my daily work that has come from my learnings in my both the degrees, PhDs and masters as well. Obviously, there is a lot of technical knowledge that kind of translates into what I'm doing currently, and that is in terms of project management. Also, while I was doing my PhD, there was a lot of skills that you build in terms of your own having self-motivation, because it's an experience that is unique doing a PhD, and you learn to be self-efficient and also plan your work around and so on. Those are some of the skills. But I think also from a project management space, where some of the courses that I'm teaching, some of the courses that I'm involved in, a lot of that knowledge is coming in from my learnings in my construction management degree. And some of the skills I think are really transferable to what I'm doing. And yeah, I see learning as a kind of a continuous process. I'm doing it on a daily basis as well now. So it's amazing. I can really see what I was probably the beginning of, before I came to New Zealand, what kind of a person I was, what kind of an approach I had to life in general, and now what kind of a person I am, I'm a professional person on a different level. Um, so yeah, there's so much I can think about it, not just in terms of technical skills, but also, just shaping a personality, I guess. So that's for me.
Um, Thank you. And I would like to ask you to expand a little bit on your PhD experience, because there is often this kind of misconception that, PhD is all about research. You only learn research, which is absolutely not the case.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So what other skills do you feel you developed through your PhD journey?
Yeah, I think this is an answer which only somebody who's done a PhD can talk about, and it's really different because when you're starting a PhD, like you said, it's you think about, oh, what is my research topic? Do I have to master the research topic? And is my thesis is it all going to be about that? Uh, it is true only to some extent. Yes, your research topic is there, you're researching on that specific topic, but I think the greatest learning that you're doing is getting that research mindset, getting that skills, obviously, and also building something which is very unique in terms of how you think about things. It's quite different how a researcher would approach a problem and how somebody else has not done that process of going through a scientific way of approaching would do it. And I think that is the key difference. And I see this in what I do in terms of the approach that I take. It's a very, I want to call it scientific again, but it's a very thorough, thought out process. So when you're looking for solutions, you're not just looking for a solution to a problem, you're looking for the solution. So you take an approach where you know that the solution you've gathered is actually the best solution for your problem. And that is the biggest learning from your PhD, not the topic knowledge behind it. That's there. That usually does happen when you're reading about something for 4 or 5 years. But I think that the other learning which you get out of it is a life learning, which is quite important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for highlighting that. As a career consultant, I'm so happy that, PhDs, which as you show now, are transferable not just to an academic career, but very much to any industry as well, because it's all about the skills that you've gained in the process.
Absolutely.
Jessica, how about you? How do you feel the studies here set you up for success, which is evident in your career?
Thank you for the question. I totally agree with what you were talking about. I think it's a suite of transferable skills that we could learn and gain from the university studies. It's not just the subject itself, it's also about how to communicate. It's also about how to maintain a systematic thinking all the way through the projects and the work that you do. It's also, like me, I'm doing my own business, operate the business. I have to be entrepreneurial. I sometimes I have to set myself as an entrepreneur, as an adventurer, to try to seek different solutions for any obstacles you might have. That's also that's also the skill I actually gained from my university studies from here. So yeah, it's a transferable skill set that we could gain from the study life here.
Yes, great, thank you. And following on from that, we talked a little bit about transferable skills that you've gained. Apart from that, what else do you feel you've developed? You talked a little bit, Abhinav, about your personal human development. This transformation, the person that you were, the person that you are now. Jessica, you mentioned your networks, your co-founders. What else do you feel you've developed apart from the skills, the knowledge, maybe certain attitudes, personality traits, lifelong connections, anything else you'd like to highlight?
I've got something, yeah, probably. I think when I think about it, what I learned at the university or just being around in the city of Auckland is develop a sense of respect for different cultures, because that's something which is very unique, what I got to experience, what I do get to experience here now as well. But just as a student, if I put myself back a few years when I was doing my master's, you meet different people of different cultures from different parts of the world, from different professional capacities. And I remember this very vividly. In the first couple of weeks when I was in my master's, I actually counted the number of students that I met from different nationalities. and I just lost count in the first few days. It went beyond 20 so fast that I was like, wow. I mean, yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is you learn something about inclusivity. You learn something about respecting others' cultures and embracing diversity in every aspect. And you're not just limited to people of your own culture here. You mingle with people from, like I said, different backgrounds and also from different professional experiences. So we used to have students who work in the industry here in Auckland and New Zealand for about 20, 30 years. And you get to be in teams with them for doing your projects. And the amount of knowledge they share with you, the experiences they share with you of what happens in the industry, the contacts that you build are such great, immense importance. And also, like I said, that, yeah, so I think that's something which is really close to me in terms of what I've gained as, just being part of this cultural society here. So, yeah.
Thank you. How about you, Jessica?
And for me, there are two. One is the network you mentioned, but I guess the network is not that. It's not only the network that you built when you were studying at the university. It's also the network that you were able to reach out internationally after you graduate and when you were building your career in the international space. You mentioned that there are so many different nationalities that and humans that we meet at the university. It's also, I think the university will enable us to reach out to different people who are working in different spaces who share the same university background, where you can reach out to them. Like you feel when the time you meet someone who also graduated from Auckland Uni, you feel the connectivity somewhere. Like I remember meeting one good friend, like who used to be like a business network connection, but then we built into a very good life friend, and that's just because we found out that she also went to Auckland University, and she's now living in Hong Kong. But when we met each other, we were talking about business, and by the time she mentioned about her study life in New Zealand, and we feel so close to each other. So that's network. Second, it's I think the way how you live in an international space, because I was coming from a very traditional family in China. So by the time I didn't know much about how to communicate with different to talk to different nationalities in one language. So by studying in New Zealand, it actually opened my mind. I learned so much about different cultures. I learned about how to connect with those cultures, and also, like, benefiting for my business is knowing how to doing business with different nationalities. So that's the two I feel that's very important and contributing so much to my current career from the uni.
Thank you so much for pointing that out. Brought me back to my own experience as a student here. And I thought what was a relatively international environment. But as you said, Abhinav, when I arrived here and started looking around, seeing people from 20, 30 different countries in my class, I was thinking, wow, that's a different level to what I was used to. Also made me reflect on the type of person I am and things that I took for granted. You know, this is how I do things. I realized that's not necessarily how other people do things. I truly feel it made me a better person, or different person, hopefully a better person. Thank you so much. The next question, and I'm sure our viewers have been looking forward to it, what tips would you give to our future international students to make sure that they make the most of their experience?
Right. Yeah. Okay. I can think of two things on top of my head. And I think one thing is to start early. It was really useful in my case to start early in terms of not just the application process and so on, but beyond that as well. I think it is important once you've got that application out there, you obviously put a lot of effort into it and everything, but when you get your admission as well, try to get on top of things as quickly as you can. There is pretty much everything that you need to know in terms of what is needed to be a student here at University of Auckland. Everything is online, and it's just a matter of you browsing through the stuff, searching for what is needed for at your end. And I would, again, coming from a project management perspective, I would definitely recommend building a checklist of what you need to do and building a timeline against it and doing that. So starting early is the main idea there. Second thing, I think, just building on from our previous conversation, when you come here, come with an open mindset. Be open to meeting new people, be open to trying different things, be open to experiencing different cultures. I think that will really put you in a good place, not just from a studies point of view, but also from a well-being point of view. That will really help you get the best out of this experience of being a student at University of Auckland.
Great, thank you so much. I really like the checklist project management perspective. Apply that to your life, uni admissions, anything. Thank you. Jessica?
I think for me, I think you should be prepared for the whole set of new life. Apart from enjoying the subjects at the university, it's also about enjoying life.
Yes.
You're gonna enjoy the beautiful New Zealand natural food, the wines, the social life, and also New Zealand is one of the world's, I think, famous outdoor adventurer place for a lot of different people who wanted to seek for outdoor activities, bungee jumping, skydiving, whole suite of different things, and also be prepared. It's going to be a very different international experience. Try to rock it, try to enjoy it, and try to be different. I think not many of the people would be able to enjoy an international study experience, particularly in New Zealand, right? So yeah, I guess just be prepared for everything that's unknown.
Yeah, I just want to add another thing. Sure. Completely agree, but this is on a completely different note. In terms of what probably students need to do at this stage, when they're watching this video, in terms of understanding what do we need to do, I think, again, picking something from my research skills background, make sure you do your own research as to what you think is best for you. And what does that mean? That means that start with the question, what do you want to get at the end of this particular degree that you're planning to do? So put that question down. How do I make sure I do A, B, C, D, ? And then try answering that question in all ways possible. Try to look at all the information available at University of Auckland. Go deeper, not just at the program level, but try to see what courses are available, what sort of takeaways are there in those courses. So I would say, yeah, investigate as deep as you can. Internet is such a rich resource, and make the most of it. And there is plenty of help out there in terms of if you have any questions, always, do your research. That's the idea. Yeah.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. I think you both highlighted the balance between having fun, enjoying your life beyond your studies, making the most of your studies. As somebody who works at the university, I just want to remind our viewers that when you become a student here, there is a lot of support. The university system is huge. It may be a little bit hard to navigate at times, but come and see us at the careers office and we'll be happy to advise you, absolutely, and point you in the right direction. All right, I think I've got another question for you. Speaking of balance, how did you balance your studies with your activities? That's going to be the last one for the day.
I think for me, it's time management. So it's always good to plan the time accordingly, like how much time of work commitment you gotta balance, and how much social life you wanna have, and then like as maybe carry on a project management mind. It's about a day there's 24 hours, how much time you need to sleep, how much time you make your social life, and how much of the academic research that you need to work on. I think back in the days, my lecturer advised me that especially for postgraduate and master degrees, you would need at least 20 to 30 hours for study in a week of time, and then you need to have enough of relaxation to be able to support what you will work on for study. So that's my taking. What about you?
Yeah, completely agree. And I think you're quite accurate in terms of the amount of work that needs to go in on a weekly basis. Probably in terms of balancing studies with other activities of what I'm looking at. Obviously, doing my master's, I had a part-time job, and I really wanted to get into the industry, get some Kiwi experience, as I call it here, under my belt, and that's really the motivation of doing that, and obviously really helped with rent and everything here as well. I think what I found really was useful is just planning your semester ahead, because you know when your assignment deadlines are if you're doing a program which has got assignments in it, and you need to make sure that you're on top of everything, understand what are the requirements closer to the dates, work around things. But on a daily basis, you have to not compromise on your well-being. If you're spending a good number of hours studying on a particular day, I think you have to balance it out with some social activities that you do, and plenty of clubs at the university for you to serve different interests. And I would definitely recommend joining those clubs, meeting new people, taking time out to enjoy the wonderful city that Auckland is. Not just Auckland, I think go beyond it. You've got long weekends now and then, so take a camper van, go away, go on a holiday, come back. So that balance is really important, and don't lose sight of the experience as a whole, not just from a studies point of view.
Great, thank you. Fantastic tips. I hear we've got a few questions from our viewers. We've selected a few for you to answer. Thank you so much. Right. The first one, Abhinaw, it's actually for you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your PhD?
Sure, yeah. I'm glad that that's of interest to people. I'd be more than happy to share. Yeah, well, so after my master's, fortunately, I performed really well, and I had a University of Auckland Doctoral Scholarship, which means that I get stipend for doing my PhD, which is amazing. And my PhD was in civil engineering. And how did I decide on what I really want to do? It's quite simple for me. While doing my master's, I really liked the idea of digital engineering and exploring that concept of now what it is, which with so much digitalization that is coming across, how does the civil engineering, or in my case it was especially construction project management, how it could be improved by this use of digitalization. And I was looking at exploring specific technologies like blockchain technology for construction information management, and that's where my PhD was. And to expand further in terms of what happens on a PhD, the first year you're pretty much trying to understand what topic you want to get into. You're scoping your project. You're trying to understand what is the area that you want to focus into, because it's PhD, although you're building general knowledge on a wide spectrum, but your research is focused on a very niche topic, which is quite original in the world. So you're trying to scope that research and take some time. And once you get into it, then you get into the process of research, which is going up with your research methodology, pretty much self-regulating yourself, because there is no timetable, there is no timelines, there is no assignment submission. So you're working at your own pace, you're working at in your own discipline, which is again another thing. So yeah, it is a lengthy process, but remember, at the end of 4 years, you're not just gaining subject knowledge expertise, you're learning life skills, you're building a personality, you're developing discipline. So it's an experience worth taking if you're considering it.
Yeah, well, it does sound tempting when you talk about it. Not in engineering, though, for me, but something else, maybe. Jessica, there's one for you. What do you think about the future of digital and the career opportunities in the next 3 to 5 years?
In terms of digital, so is that specifying the digital marketing?
I think, yeah, we can talk about digital marketing, which is your area of expertise.
Okay. I think, well, marketing is for pays, right? It's product, place, promotion, price. Build on the digital space in these days. It's really about how you utilizing the technology to fulfill the full pace for different markets. I think today the good thing about digital technology is that it enables you to do so much different things. You can build your own technology. You can also utilize the data that you gained through whichever the digital marketing activities that you gained for understanding the behaviors of the consumers for future strategy plannings and everything. So I guess for the students who are looking at building their career into digital marketing, I think there are 3 areas that students can look into. One is definitely understanding how the technologies work, how the different digital platforms are working, the background, the fundamental philosophy of why the technology was built, what's the objective for building that technology. Second, it's understanding the market of audience. You need to be selective on the very targeted audience, the markets. You need to study the market. You need to understand the target audiences so that for whichever strategy you wanted to implement and to engage with the target audience, you can know how to utilize the technology to engage with the particular target audience. Third is the content. You need to be creative and be open-minded on how to engage with the consumers with the technologies with the right content, so you will know how to promote it in the right time. So I guess for the early career, someone who is looking at building their early career, that will be the areas I would advise them to look into.
Thank you. That's very specific. Very helpful. Thanks so much. Jessica, we've got another one for you. Oh, wow. One of our viewers is from China, and they actually want to come to New Zealand with their family to study. And they're asking you, what has been your experience in New Zealand? Quite an open question. So whatever you'd like to highlight.
Okay. One of the points I really wanted to highlight at studying at the uni is, because I did postgraduate at Auckland Uni, I feel the facilitation that university provided is superb. I don't know if it is still called what's it called, the 24/7 study center for the art student and for the computer science student, where you can work in the space at whichever time, and if you're working late, then you can enjoy the shower facilitations, and you can enjoy the drinks and everything from the facilitation. I think that's one of the amazing experience the university provided during my study. So because I also had my part-time job during my study, so I can come back to the uni and doing all the study works during the night time. So I think that's the point of difference that Auckland University provided to me compared to what I learned from my past experience back in China. The other thing I think someone from a different international country to come and study here in New Zealand is that embrace the different cultures and the variety of different activities that you can enjoy in New Zealand. It's not just a study. I think from my personal experience, it's not always study. during my life here, right? You gotta know how to engage with different opportunities that's actually provided to you. Of course, you need to seek for the different things to engage apart from the study life, but it's actually the opportunities that will come in towards you. It's potentially the network that's coming to you. Like you gotta be brave to meet new friends, and it's also like you might coming from a background where you never enjoyed much of the international food, right? That's me, because even I lived in China, there was so much of different variety of food that I can indulge. I never tried different other sets of Chinese food like spicy, like gongbao jiding, like those sort of different dishes. I actually enjoyed here in New Zealand. Like it's a very different experience to me. And the other thing is maybe born from a traditional family. I never know how to live independently because I was surrounded with because I'm the only child in my family, and my parents always taking so much care of me. Coming back to my study life, because I came here as a high school student, I learned how to live independently, look after myself, try to earn some money out of my part-time jobs, and plan my cash flows for my daily life. So I think again, it's whole set of different experiences that I gained from my university and also my international study experience. So to anyone who's coming from China, just be prepared. It's gonna be so different, and I do suggest to enjoy everything, every piece of details that you will gain from here in New Zealand and Auckland, in particularly.
Great, thank you. That's a wonderful answer. You've covered everything, from food to becoming an adult. That's a truly transforming experience.
Now I have so much to share, right?
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we should do 3 webinars, yes, for our viewers. I'm sure they would be happy. We've got time for one last question, and this one is for Abhinaw. You mentioned your scholarship briefly. Somebody actually asked you about the scholarship. They want to know more about it. And can you share some tips with me how to find the scholarships and how to apply?
Sure, no, that's a great question, and I can completely see the student's perspective or a prospective student's perspective why they'd be interested in this. I was there myself. So the thing is, with scholarships, you have to, again, going back to my previous point, do your research to understand what is out there that the university is providing you, that the New Zealand government is providing you, and so on. And there are plenty of channels, plenty of opportunities for you to apply. And I just want to point out a couple of them that I know because I'm working at the University of Auckland here now. There is, I think, a 1.5 million grant for students from India. And this is for multiple students, I think 100 plus students and so on. Not really sure what the name is. I can't remember, but if they are keen, I think they will be able to find it online. And while I was doing my master's, I had a scholarship. It was the University of Auckland Postgraduate Excellence Scholarship or something like that. I can't remember the name. I think that was a real big motivation for me because, I mean, just imagine a student who's done his bachelor's and worked somewhere in India now gets recognition or acknowledgement that, you're actually a good enough student to get a scholarship at the University of Auckland. That really, let me bring my A game to the university because I know that they trust me to give me a scholarship. And then now it is my responsibility to perform, to show the university that, yes, I am deserving of it. So I think it's a really interesting approach to get a scholarship. You have to put in the effort and don't be lazy because it is every dollar that you get in terms of a scholarship is worth it. So yeah, I think that is one scholarship I mentioned, another one that I was part of as well. And obviously there are so many of them. I think I remember searching and plenty of filters based on what postgraduate program you're doing. Are you doing undergrad program or which faculty you're in, engineering, arts or science, whatever it is. and also what sort of background you're coming in from. Are you coming from India, from China? There are different scholarships. So there are plenty of filters, plenty of scholarships. I think I'm quite confident in saying that there are 100+ scholarships out there, and it is just a matter of you finding what actually you fit into and searching for it. And there is a scholarship department, from what I understand, because I used to contact them at the university, who can help you out with any sort of information. So yeah, feel free, search what you want, and yeah, there is definitely more than 1.5 million scholarships to take. So
Yes.
there you go.
Up for grabs, absolutely. You just have to submit a really good application and be a good student, obviously.
100%.
Thank you so much, Abhinaw. Thank you so much, Jessica. It was wonderful to talk to you. What a beautiful way to start our week. And this is just the beginning. Please join us for all the other webinars in the International Open Week. And have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.